Cool. On this live today, we're going to be talking about how you could start a recession-proof group home business in 2026. I've had Airbnb people reach out to me, nurses who think they need a license to get started reach out to me, and also real estate investors who previously aren't cash flowing the way they want to on their property reach out. So we're going to go over the full business model, all right? And if you are not familiar with who I am, my name is Terrence Garcia. I got started in this space back in 2021 after re-giving my life to Christ. I was looking for a way to start to build wealth for myself and also give back to people who I saw, suffering from homelessness. A lot of it was from when I would be training people at a downtown park here in Tampa. I thought I was going to be, an Ashton Hall top trainer in the world. And we'd be training people early in the mornings, and I would see people that were being released from the Salvation Army shelters, coming out of or just sleeping in the park overnight, and started having conversations with them. And I was like, man, these are good people. So during some prayer time, found a way to kind of put together building wealth for yourself and also housing people together. And we came up with this business model. So that's what we're going to go into today. Oh, and again, started in 2021. I have 8 locations now here in Tampa, Florida. I've left my 9-to-5 job. I've been coaching other people the last 2 years to get started. I've helped other people leave their 9-to-5 job and create revenue for themselves. So it is awesome. So let's dive into it. One of the first things that I wanted to make sure we talked about was the different types of group homes. So group home, I think, is just a term that a lot of people utilize. Another buzzword that's going around is independent living homes. There is sober living homes, boarding homes, rooming houses, all of those things. The main focus is going to be, housing people that are transitioning out of homelessness. So that can be veterans, that can be domestic violence survivors, that can be people with minor mental health issues. So think depression or bipolar or anxiety, kids aging out of the foster care system, or even someone who's coming out of a sober living or a rehab home. So those are the different populations that you can serve. What you call your home can change based off the state that you're in, but for the most part, let's just stick with a group home for now, or you can call it an independent living home if that's something you're more comfortable with. Big difference is for all of my homes, I do not provide any care or services. So if someone's coming in, they need to be able to take care of themselves independently, which means they can take care of their ADLs. They don't need assistance with, getting a driver's license or anything like that. No case management services. Now, if someone does want to move in and they need assistance with those services, potentially they can still move into the home, but we would have to outsource those services to another organization, so a third-party organization. That's why it's important, which we'll dive into, to establish relationships in your area so you know where and when you could refer a client over. What's up, Olivia? What's going on, Kylie? What's up, Miss Peyton? Butter Pecan Pure? Welcome in. All right, so let's go into the business model. Another thing that I recommend is, and if you don't like talking about the Bible, this probably isn't the best live for you to be on, but the Bible's clear that there is nothing new under the sun. So before I dive into different business models or anything like that, I check hey, has this been done before? Am I doing something new? Have other people do this? Is there a history of it, right? So that's something you always want to look into. So let's go over the history of where this business model came from. So you guys know, man, is this even legal? Or other people doing it? Where did it come from? Because when I started in 2021, I wasn't the first person to do it. I didn't pioneer this business model. And I used to think that an organization that got started in 1975 was, but I learned that it went a lot further than that. So I'm going to try to bring over a whiteboard. I have not the best penmanship, and hope you guys can see that. Okay, can you see the whiteboard?
Oh,
Pull it over here.
actually,
Comment if you can see the whiteboard or not. I want to make sure that you guys can see this. Let me get a yes or a no. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's start with, let's go. 1/4 of it, perfect. Yeah, I think that's all we need for now. There we go. Pull over a little bit more. All right. Pull myself. Cool. So let's start with 1975. Again, I do not have the best handwriting, so do not judge. We got Oxford House. All right, so 1975. Oh, it's flipped for you guys. 1 second. Is there a way? Mirror. All right. There you go. Bad handwriting, but we are making do. I have to move my laptop over like this.
I got it. You're good.
Cool. All right, 1975, we got Oxford House. All right, so Oxford House, I used to think they were the pioneers of this business model. Shout out to them. They got started in 1975. There was a gentleman who was suffering from addiction, and he was a part of another, like, we'll call it halfway house. They closed down, and he was like, hey, well, why can't we just start our own? They got started in an HOA area. And with that, code enforcement came knocking on their door. Again, this is 1975, saying, hey, you guys have more than 4 unrelated individuals living here. You're not going to be able to operate, right? The gentleman decided to fight code enforcement, and the case went to court. It not only went to court, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and Oxford House ended up winning. So now if you look them up, they have over 3,000 locations spread out across the United States, right? So that's one example, 1975. Let's go to 1950s.
Did you see the question about the startup?
No, it's somebody said?
How much?
And if you have questions throughout it, go ahead and post them. What was the question?
How much is your upfront cost?
Upfront cost is gonna depend on your property acquisition strategy. That's gonna be the biggest expense for you. It's probably gonna be between like 5 to 7K all in to get up and running. Yeah, and if you have questions, go ahead and drop them. I got Alyssa here. She's reading the chat as well to let me know if I miss anything. But all right, 1950s is where people started using the term, and I said it earlier, halfway house. Can you see all of that? Kind of, not really. Again, bad penmanship, don't judge. So a halfway house is actually, it's like it was built to be a halfway point between being institutionalized, which is, being incarcerated in jail or prison, and being back into society. So this was right after World War II is when they started using this. And a lot of people were leaving prison, psychiatric hospitals, and state institutions, and they were being released directly into the community. And what they found was that wasn't working because there was no transition period for them. So prison chaplains, social workers, parole officers, they came together and they started using the term halfway house, and that's when halfway house was introduced. So again, another historical point, similar business model, was a shared living environment, but this was strictly for people that were returning home coming from clients. What's up?
Licensing, do you need it?
No licensing to get started. No licensing to get started. I'm not really in the
Yeah, you're good.
in the
Yeah,
thing.
you're good.
Dang, I'm messing this up. My bad. All right, no licensing to get started. All right, going up even further. Oh, my outline disappeared. Going up even further. Alyssa told me not to say this one, so I won't write. I'll just write the date on here. But in around 1865-ish, the post-slavery, when slaves were being free, a lot of them came into shared living environments as well because there wasn't other housing options for them. So they came together in a shared living environment. All right.
Commercial insurance.
Commercial insurance, yeah, general liability insurance tied to your LLC is what I typically recommend. And I'm gonna get into all of that later in this video as well. Going up further, we have the 1800s. So in the 1800s, there were lodging and boarding homes that were formed right after the Industrial Revolution. So reason why this was important is because a lot of people started moving inner city towards the trains and railroads and things of that nature for jobs, but the cities weren't built for it, so there wasn't enough housing options. So a lot of people came up with the business model of lodging homes, and then they called them boarding homes. For the lodging homes, and I don't know why I put that slash there. We're gonna write it right here. Boarding. For the lodging homes, it was just housing, so no meals were included with that. It was mainly single man laborers, migrant workers, people passing through town. For the boarding house, it was for room and meal, so room and board up front. A lot of teachers, clerks, widows, single women, small families, and middle class working people stayed on the boarding side of things. And if we go one above that, which I won't dive into, go look in your Bible about the different characters who traveled in different cities, and they were staying in other people's homes, a form of shared housing. People were offering, a spare bedroom and meals to individuals that were able to get up and running. What's up?
How do you build your website?
If you are looking for a website and you need template options, go to freegrouphomewebsite.com. Again, freegrouphomewebsite.com will get you right. All right, I turned off mirroring, so hopefully I don't look as much like a goof. Cool. With the history going on, let's dive into the different phases to actually get started in this business. So the first one is going to be setting up your business foundation. So I recommend the LLC. Once you have your LLC, you get your EIN number, you open up a business bank account, and then if you are in need of business funding, you can utilize that as well. I did not know about business funding when I first got started, so I put everything on a personal credit card. I don't recommend you do that today, right? So leverage business funding if you have the opportunity to do so. It will open up a lot more doors for you and allow you to grow and scale a lot faster. The next side of things is going to be what you do for marketing, which Miss Coco, what's going on, just asked the question about website. So you definitely want to have your front end side of things done before you start reaching out to organizations. To me, that's a website. So again, if you need a website, go to freegrouphomewebsite.com. You can look at the templates and create one yourself, or you could utilize the services there. But when you start reaching out to organizations, they're gonna look you up to see if you're legit or not. When I'm in a new city, like we went to New York not too long ago, when I was hungry and I wanted something to eat, the first thing I do when I'm exploring my options is see if they have a website. And ideally, I want you to have pictures of the food as well. If you don't have a website, I'm not entertaining it. I'm not going to that place, right? So if you are reaching out and you're sending emails and you're not getting replies and you don't have a website, that's why, okay? The next thing that you're gonna want is a flyer or a brochure. What's going on, Precious Limitless? Welcome in. The next thing you're going to want to make sure is either a flyer or brochure. I think a flyer is fine. That's what I mostly recommend. That is going to be utilized for you to send via email, and then also when you're visiting organizations in person, you can hand it off. They'll usually make copies in the office, and then they can use that to distribute it to people that are coming in or their colleagues and other case managers, etc. Man, I lost my outline again. I'm gonna go through this one. Perfect. The next thing that you're gonna need is a way to track your contacts. So there's so Yeah, I'm on the same page. So there's so many people that I speak with, nothing wrong with it, but they're tracking their contacts still on like a pen and paper. And I'm like, man, you're one rainy day, you're one kid spilled drink or dog ate it away from losing all of your contacts, and you never want to be in that type of situation. So you can use a simple Google Sheet to store your contacts digitally. That way you have them, on your phone, on your laptop, etc. After you have those three main things, I call it like your foundation side of things, that's where you go into doing research on the different organizations in your area. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you cast a wide net. There's people who come to me that are like, man, I really want to focus on housing the veterans, or I really want to focus on housing kids that are aging out of the foster care system, which is fantastic. If God's calls you to house a specific population, kudos to you, go for it. I don't argue with God. But one thing for you to consider is you don't know the demand in your area until you start reaching out to these different organizations. So if you cast a wide net, if you're reaching out to some organizations that work with veterans, some that work with age out of foster care systems, some that work with returning home citizens, etc., then that's going to give you a better idea of where the biggest need is in your community at this specific time. And that's what you want. So start off by doing your research and finding organizations. You can find organizations on Google. There's different keywords you can use, like rapid rehousing. You can look up ready for work programs. You can look up sober living homes, veteran services in your area, and always attach your city to it. If you're inside of our school community, you have all the keywords that you can utilize in a ChatGPT prompt to find organizations, but there's tons of free ways out there for you to find orgs in your area. Matter of fact, if you click the link in my bio, go to the Referral Goldmine series, I put together a document that has good organizations that you can utilize in all 50 states. So you can click the link in my bio. That's a free resource. You can go in and get that. Once you have the list of organizations in your area, and again, I recommend you get at least 50. Don't do 3 and then want to stop. Like, try to get at least 50. Then that's when you're going to go into the part of reaching out to them. So right now, best way to reach out is going to be email, calling, and visiting in person. In your emails, when you're reaching out, I recommend the goal being to schedule some sort of in-person meeting or an introductory Zoom call to help you establish a relationship. If you just reach out via email asking if they have clients that are in need of housing, or asking if they can refer people over to you, and they don't know you, there's no relationship established, they're not going to send people your way. So what you want to make sure you include in all of your emails is it's called a CTA, so a call to action. Make sure you're asking them a question at the bottom that requires them to reply. And this goes all the way even to once you have a home, right? So even once you have a home, you still want to start with or end with a CTA on your emails. When you are doing this outreach to these organizations, and again, we haven't got a property yet, right? So when you're doing this outreach, I recommend people wait until they have 3 to 5 solid referral partners that you've met with, whether it be in person or on Zoom or a Google Meet call, and they have said, yes, we like what you're doing. You learn more about their services, and they acknowledge that they have clients they would be able to send you. Once you get a home up and running, then you can start the next process of go ahead and going to secure a property. Did I miss anything on that part?
I don't think so.
No? If I'm going too fast, feel free to comment on here and let me know as well. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments as I'm going, and we can stop and kind of go through them. But I want to make sure I'm touching all parts here. But I think I got it. Cool. So let's say you have your 3 to 5 organizations that ready to send you clients. The next step is to go into the property acquisition side of things. Great question. Demetra, fantastic question. So, do you tell them that you do not have a home yet? Yes, you need to be upfront with the organizations when reaching out, letting them know you do not have a home yet. Best way you can do that is you can say, you're in the beginning stages. You plan on opening up a few homes over the next few months. My opening line that I share with community members and that I've been using for the past 2 years on Zoom calls with organizations is say, hey, my name is Terrence. I'm the operations manager, or you can say real estate acquisitions team member. We're in the very beginning stage of our process right now, but we plan on opening 3 to 5 properties over the next few months. Instead of going the traditional landlord route, we really want to get into the affordable housing space because we see how much of a need there is in the community today. What we've been doing and what we're doing right now is spending time connecting with great organizations like yourself who already have their boots on the ground, serving the different demographics that we'd like to help serve in the future, and learning, if you guys are in need of additional housing partners, if you have any others, what that process looks like, and how we can become a housing partner for you all. And what that does is it kind of sets the foundation for the call. They know you're in the beginning stage of your process. They know you're not just looking to open up one home. It's an organization you can grow with, so they get excited as well. It said someone got had as a co-host. I was like, what the heck? Nadine, Happy New Year. What's going on? Great question, though. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and drop it in. All right, so going up next into the property acquisition side of things. So you can either do the rental arbitrage method, or you can own a home. Both models work. When I first got started, I didn't have a lot of funds, so I got started renting homes, and I fell in love with that process, and I scaled through rentals. So all 8 of my locations are rentals today. When you are looking for a rental, or even if you own the home, one thing that we want to make sure, even though legally you can open up your home anywhere, we like focusing on what I call BC neighborhoods. So think of an A neighborhood as a $1 million neighborhood, gated community, HOA, things like that. Yes, you can operate there, but the neighbors may not want you to operate there, which may cause problems later on. Even for the people who know who Steph Curry is, there's an article that came out on him, I think like a few years ago, and he was like, not in my backyard. There was a sober living home that was trying to open up in his neighborhood, and he wasn't happy about it. So a B neighborhood, so that's an A neighborhood. Going to a D neighborhood. D neighborhood is highest drug activity, highest crime rate, right? You don't want to open up your home there because you're putting people in a position to fall back into other temptations that, maybe mess them up earlier on in their life. So that BC neighborhood area is the sweet spot. You also want to try to be near public transportation because a lot of people you're housing in this business may not have access to a vehicle. So leveraging public transportation is going to be important. And if you can be near shopping centers, like a Walmart or near jobs or anything like that, that would be fantastic as well. Just coming in, did you answer Ms. Coco's question? Yeah, what do you use to build your website? Yeah, you can go to freegrouphomewebsite.com. There's templates on there that you can look at if you want to build your own website, or if you want to use that service to build your website, they'll be up and running in less than 48 hours. Perfect. Next, we're going into, so we got the property acquisition side of things. Next, we are going into residents. Tyler said, I live in a small town in Georgia, and we don't have a homeless shelter.
She wants to figure out where to market.
Yeah, so, oh wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
No, I was saying I was just doing it for you, but.
Doing what?
No, I was saying I was reading the rest. I didn't know if you saw the second part. So it says I'm trying to figure out where to market. So I was saying she was just asking if there's homeless shelters. Where do you market?
Yeah, I didn't see that part. So thank you, Tyler. Look up shelterlistings.org. So one of my secret sites, shelterlistings.org. It will pull up different shelters that are in your area or the surrounding areas. It's a national database. Also, type in rapid rehousing programs near me and ready for work programs near me as well. Or not near me, put ready for work programs and put you said small city in Georgia, or rapid rehousing small city in Georgia into Google and see what pops up there. But you do want to make sure that there's resources for people that are transitioning out of homelessness in your area, or at least within a 30-minute drive. Because if not, there's not going to be a lot of people in need of housing there because there's no resources for them there. So if it's a completely suburban area, then it may not be the best place for you to start your housing business. Queen Yenny, what's up? She said, I'm back. Welcome in. Oh, I forgot. I don't even have my I don't have my sound bar in here. But it's all good. All right, so with residents,
she said we have resources like Walmart, hospital, and stuff like that.
Hospital. What's up, Regina? Hospital could work. Yeah, hospitals can work for sure. All right, so with residents, you want to make sure that they have income. So at the start of this video, I mentioned that it was a recession-proof business model. Reason being is because I focus on individuals who have guaranteed income coming in. When I first got started, that was not always the case, but now that's what I focus on. So learn from my, I guess we'll call it mistakes or lessons, whatever works for you. But you want to focus on individuals who either get Social Security or disability income. So that's income that's coming in every single month on either the first or the third. Very few of them get it on like the third Wednesday of the month. But for the most part, it's either the first or the third. And then also individuals where an organization is covering the rent for them, whether that be an ongoing thing, if they're offering to cover like the first 3 to 6 months. It varies, but if the organization is paying, you know that income is coming in because the organization cares about their reputation as well. When I mentioned how I, didn't have that in place earlier is where I accepted individuals who were planning on paying from income from their job, which isn't the end of the world. But what I found is, especially, it's Happy New Year again, it's 2026. Jobs are fluctuating like crazy. So someone can have a job one day, something happens, they get layoff, furloughed, you name it. And then that puts them in a situation to where they may not have money to pay the rent. So then you have to make a decision like, hey, are we going to give them a chance to get another job? That can mean, that you have to give them grace to research different jobs, apply for different jobs, interview for different jobs, go through the training of that job, and then go ahead and get paid. And that can be a whole 30 days later. So now they're 2 months behind and you have to put a payment plan together in order for them to catch up, which is tough. So just something to keep in mind, focus on SSI, SSDI, or where organizations are able to cover the rent for them.
Repeat the sites for to find people, to find going back to what you said about children's homeless shelters. What's the site that you said?
Who asked the question? Maya?
No, listen more
3. I don't see where it is. So the sites where you can find different shelters. One is shelterlistings.org. If you go on there, it's a national database of shelters across the United States. You're just gonna have to click into your state and then your city as well, and then it will show you orgs that are in your area and surrounding areas. I think that was the only site I mentioned. Oh, and then if you're looking on Google, you can search rapid rehousing. You can search ready for work programs. I like working for ready for work programs. They primarily focus on returning home citizens. And what they do is they get people reacclimated back into society. So they usually will cover the rent for an individual while they're in their program. So the individual will be staying housing-wise with me, but during the day they'll be going to the Ready for Work program, which is pretty much job readiness. It's in the description, right? So they're doing interview practice. They're helping them find a job, get reacclimated. If they aren't familiar with computers, getting them familiar with computers, things of that nature.
Mia said, hey, I just got a house 2 weeks ago. I have everything almost ready to go. And then she says, I have a meeting tomorrow at a shelter. What do you recommend you bring other than flyers and brochures?
If you're bringing your, and can you speak, you gotta speak a little louder when you're saying the question, because it may not pick up on my phone.
I just want you to hear it.
I know, but I need them to hear it, or else I'm not reading it.
Can you hear me? Put a 1 in the chat.
Can you guys hear Alyssa when she's reading the questions?
He thinks I'm whispering, and I'm not whispering.
Help me out. Could you guys hear Alyssa? User put a 1 in the chat. There's a 1. Did you say 1?
1.
They can't. My bad. My bad.
Thank you.
Loud, noises, clear. All right, loud and clear. They can't hear you. All right, cool. My bad. So congratulations on the organization meeting. All you really need is a flyer. Bring a couple copies. Bring a copy that isn't that is printable as well. So like we have in the community, we have one that has like a bunch of colors and stuff like that, and that would look good. That looks good if it's printed with colors. And then we also have a more generic one that's easier for printed, because organizations, if they're making copies of your flyers, they're going to copy it in black and white. So you want to make sure whatever you have on there can still look presentable in black and white. But no, I think that's great. Do you have a property already, or are you going as an introductory meeting, not with a property yet? What's up, Kay? Happy New Year.
It says user, and then it has a bunch of numbers. It says you're a real person and trying to link up. I have 2 empty homes, would like to structure. We probably address them too.
You're a real person. Yes, I am not AI generated. I had somebody in the community 2 weeks ago come in, and they were like, "Man, we just had to make sure you were legit. You weren't AI." Maybe it's because we've been slacking. I've been slacking on my posting, so apologies. It's the new year. We are gonna do better, but I've been active in our community. I've just been focusing on people who are in our school group. So gonna get back to coming on live and posting more content as well to help you guys get your homes up and running.
Demi said, do re-entry citizens fall in those categories with funds? I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, so it varies based off the organization they're working with. You said it was Demi?
Yeah.
It varies based off the organization they're working with. So if they're working with a Ready for Work program, they may have funds available to cover them on ongoing. They may be able to assist the individual with, the first 3 to 6 months of moving into your place. It just really depends on the organization. So that's something you wanna ask. And then Maya said she does have the property. Let's go. So yeah, bring pictures of your property if you can, and also store photos, and if you can, a video walkthrough into like a Google Drive folder, and be ready to send that to them afterwards in an intro email. But yeah, as you're going in, you're letting them know that I don't know if you just opened up, but I'd let them know, hey, we just opened up. We have a few beds that are available. Instead of going the traditional landlord space, or really want to get into the affordable housing. I saw on your website, it looks like you serve, you're gonna have to look on their website, it looks like you serve X, Y, and Z clients, and you guys are doing great work in the community. Just reaching out wanted to connect and see, what you guys are looking for in a housing partner and how I can become one of them.
I gave her a nickname. It's Demetra. Sorry, I said Demi.
Demetra. Okay, got you. There are, which I can. Would it be helpful, real quick, if I go over some common questions that organizations are likely going to ask Maya in her meeting tomorrow, and how she can answer them? Or do you guys want me to? Would that not be helpful? And you guys prefer me to keep going with what I was doing before?
Oh, Mia says she's in your community. She says, and I've been going over everything, we just wanted to double check.
Oh, you're locked in then, Mia. Let's go. You're already locked in. Yeah, so in the let me just flip this over real quick. So Mia knows where it is, and then I'll read off of it. Cool. So Mia, in the classroom section, just come down to, so you understand the model, you built your foundation, you got your marketing assets in place, you found referral sources, you did your outreach to them. Now you're on the pitch and partner section. So you can click on that, go into the common questions and answers. And this is the top 9 questions that throughout pitching organizations across the US that they have asked me and other housing providers, and how you can best answer them. So you already have the property, so you have the answer for that. Next one they're gonna ask you is how much are you gonna charge, right? So if you have your set bed prices, you can go ahead and share that with them. No problem, Demetra. If you do not, then your next thing that you're gonna want to do is let them know, hey, we're in the beginning stages right now, haven't finalized our prices yet, and then reverse Uno it on them. I call it reverse Uno. Ask them what their clients are used to paying or how much their other housing partners that are similar to you are charging. That way you can get a better idea of what the bed rate goes for in your area. What I'm seeing right now across the US is a shared room bed going anywhere between $600 to $800 a month. Private rooms going anywhere between $800 to $1,000. Unless you're in like a major metropolitan city. So think California, New York, Miami, those bed prices are going to be a little bit higher. User said, how do I get what you just showed? Join the housing department community. The link's in my bio to join that.
They asked VA versus independent versus group home, which path?
VA versus independent versus group home?
Versus independent versus group home, but I think they're kind of intermingling.
Yeah, so veterans and independent living can be the same thing. So it's going to be very similar. That's just the demographic that you're serving in your home, as long as you aren't providing any care or services for the individuals that are living there. And then if you're talking about group home, I'm assuming since you separated it, you mean like a licensed group home where you are providing care or services or helping people with their daily activities. That's where you're mainly billing through Medicaid, but you have support there 24/7. That's going to be the main difference. What I'm talking about and what my area of specialty is more of the independent living side of things, to where we just focus on the housing. Everyone who comes and stays at our homes can take care of themselves independently. Maya got me pumped up that she got a meeting coming up. The other thing that they'll probably ask you is your screening process. So be ready to answer that. Who you're looking to house. So for the screening process, you can let them know, again, this phone interview, in-person meeting, and then you have screening questions that you can share with them to have the clients fill out. Who you're looking to house will vary. And I don't know, you may already have your idea of what you're going to say. Maya, I'm just giving you options. Who you're looking to house may vary. I don't know if it's a men's home or a women's home, or if you plan on doing co-ed. But when they're coming in and asking you, like, what are the qualifications? Are people going to be able to get housed? I like letting them know so that they know, like, hey, we're all on the same page here. We understand, or I understand, that the type of people that I'm looking to house may not have the best credit score. They may have been previously incarcerated in the past, maybe even have an eviction on their record. We're going to do the best to work with as many of your clients as we can. Depending on our home location, which you already know your home location, the main clientele we may not be able to house is going to be SOs because of the 1,000-foot rule. Other than that, we're open and we're going to do our best to work with as many of your clients as possible. Usually after you say that, they're like, yeah. When you say, like, we understand that they may not have the best credit score, they've been incarcerated in the past, they're like, yes. And remind them that you are, man, we're just going all over the place today, but oh well. Sometimes when you're speaking with organizations, you have to remind them where you fit into play. So where you fit into play, if you're getting your home up and running, or whether you already have a home up and running, or you're looking on scaling, is right now across the United States, Most permanent housing solutions are one, at risk of being terminated. Two, they have up to 6 months to a year long waiting list. Okay, so the question that you ask these organizations is, where are all the people who are on your waiting list staying? And then you sit back and listen, right? Where are they staying? They're not going to have a really good answer for that. That's where you dive in and be like, okay, well, they may be couch surfing, they're staying in shelters, they're staying at their parents' place, they're sleeping in the woods, and some of them have income. So we want to be that middle solution of where someone can come and stay who has income and offer housing for them so that they aren't couch surfing, sleeping in their car, staying in a shelter where they're sharing multiple beds in a shared room, or just in an uncomfortable situation in general. That's that middle gap that you guys are, including myself, we are hoping to solve. And sometimes you have to let the organizations know that. Another thing is, there's going to be some orgs. Hey, Sunita, appreciate the rose. There's going to be some orgs or case managers that you may meet with who say and I don't know how your house is set up, but I offer both private rooms and shared rooms. There's going to be some case managers that will say, our clients are only interested in private rooms. You can't speak for you can't speak for your clients. I get that ideally your clients would prefer private rooms, but if they're in a shelter sharing with 8 other people, I think that in a lot of the times they prefer coming into a home to where maybe they're sharing a room with one other person. It's a better situation for them. So sometimes, if you have a case manager that says that, explain it to them in full detail. And then sometimes you have to, offer or your communication or your flyer, reach out to someone else on their team and kind of go around them. We had someone in the community, she posted about it in our win section. She called a shelter, pitched them on what she wanted to do. The person she spoke with said, no, our clients wouldn't be interested in that. She said, okay, no problem, handled it very professionally, got off the phone, and then called back. I think it was like 3 hours later or something like that, got a different person on the line, pitched them on what they wanted to do. They were excited about it. And then she actually scheduled a time to go into that shelter the next day. And she pitched what she was doing to the actual people who were in the shelter. And 2 or 3 of them set up an interview with her to go to next steps. Right? So you never, ever, ever just take your first no and go from there.
Karina,
how we get to that?
Home in Los Angeles. We're just making sure everybody gets their questions answered.
Want to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered. So if you do have more questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. All right, but I'm not on my topic anymore, but that's okay. Do you offer transportation or wraparound services or referrals? I do not offer transportation. For referrals, yes, I do, for like other housing providers in the area. Cool. I think that was good. You want to keep going? Now I can keep going with the thing? Cool. All right. I don't remember where I left off. I think we were on...
It's up there. Lodging, boarding.
On the whiteboard? No, I'm talking about my outline. So we were on residence. I think we covered the resident side of things. Next is going to be paperwork that you need. So the main thing that Karina said, do you mentorship? Yes, I do, Karina. If you click the link in my bio, you can see the different ways that we can work together. Weavers Beavers, click the link in my bio. You can see the different ways that we can work together. And you'll see like the different people I've worked with also in their testimonials. For the paperwork side of things, biggest thing that you're going to need is going to be your house rules and then your agreements with your residents. So I call it a license agreement. Some people call it like a program agreement, just to set the record straight. And I know there may be other people saying different things out on the World Wide Web. To date, and to my knowledge, there is no single document that will completely prevent you from potentially having to go through the eviction process if it came down to that. I'm in Florida, and if I have a friend come over and stay at my place for, I think it might be 7 to 14 days, and they decide after that, you know what, I don't want to leave, I would legally have to evict them to get them out, right? So what we do by not having leases, instead doing license agreements, is you make it, you protect yourself as best as you can. So I've never, in my 4 years of running the business since 2021, I've never gone through, dang, it's been 5 years now. We're in 2026. Let's go. I've never gone through the eviction process, right? Because our agreement is in place, it lets them know, hey, this isn't a lease. If you break the house rules, you have to leave, etc. But the other reason is a lot of times when people have to ask someone to leave, it's going to come down to money and the income not being there, right? That's the number one reason why you would ask somebody to leave. If you're focused on clients that have guaranteed income, like we talked about earlier, whether it be Social Security or disability, then or an organization is paying for them, then you're not going to have to run into those problems. You'll be good to go, right? So another thing you can do is when it does come time to ask somebody to leave, if it comes to do with like they broke a house rule, or maybe they were drinking or smoking, whatever it may be, things are going to happen. The best thing you can do is come to them with alternative solutions. Do not go in there like a macho man or macho woman and be like, oh, you just got to get out. Offer them other solutions. So if they just broke a house rule one time, but you think they're a good person, maybe refer them to another housing provider. Let the other housing provider know everything and let them make that decision if they want to welcome them in or not. You can refer them to a hotel or a motel, or you can even refer them to another shelter. But having that alternative solution ready to go for them is going to help a lot. Cool. So that was paperwork, and I think we can go scaling next. People always ask, like, when is the right time? I have Marisol in the community. She wouldn't mind. I just did an interview with her. It's going to be coming out on the YouTube channel soon. Next week we'll post it. She just filled up her first home, and now she's like, man, when do I go about getting my second home? Or she has one bed left to fill up in her first home. She's like, when do I open up my second home? And I let her know that for me, the clear sign to go into your next home or your second home is going to be once your home is filled, and then you have people calling you on a regular basis looking to get housing. You're having to turn people away because you don't have bed availability. The last thing you want to do is still have, maybe you just got your home filled, but you aren't getting calls on a regular basis, and then go open up a second home, because if one person leaves or two people leave from your current home, now you're having to fill up multiple beds, and you're, in a business sense, bleeding more than you had to. So if you got your first home filled, but your phone's not ringing or your emails aren't coming in like you want to see them, to where you're having to turn people away, go back into the marketing phase, double down on marketing, then you can focus on scaling. As you're scaling, that's when it's really important to have your house supervisors in place. So now with my homes, I don't need to go out to different tours, whether it be a case manager coming in or a new person ready to move in, which is why, like, on a lot of my videos, you see me at home. I can run most of the business from the comfort of my home because I have a house supervisor in place. It's one of the residents who gets a deduction of their rent, and they've been with me. Most of my residents have been with me over a year. House supervisors, some of them 2 years. So they've done house tours with me. I had them shadow me. Now they can run them on their own, and I can just check in on the cameras to see how it went, what questions that came up, and follow up with them afterwards instead of having to drive all the way to the property. I've been reaching out to case managers, but beds aren't being filled. Kayla, I think it's Kayla, you make sure that when you're reaching out, and I don't know how you're reaching out, if it's via email, you should be putting a call to action at the end of your email. So a lot of people are jumping into this business model now and starting to open up homes. So case managers are more, I would say, protective of their residents for good reasoning. Not everyone's opening up their homes the right way. So what you want to do is you have to establish a relationship first. So instead of just reaching out for the first time, no previous conversation, saying, hey, I have beds available, ask for an introductory meeting. Ask for, if you can come in and visit in person. Ask if they have availability for a Zoom call. Get to know them. What happens is when a case manager gets a new client, the first thing that they're gonna do if that client needs housing is think about who their top housing providers are, who's like top of mind for them, and they're just gonna shoot them a quick text, or they're gonna call them directly or do an email, however they usually communicate, right? They're reaching out to who's top of mind before they ever go to like a new person who they haven't met with. That's usually like the last resort. Same thing for me now. I don't do as much marketing. I've been in the space for, was it 4.5 years? So I don't have to do as much email marketing. So if I have one bed open up, I don't send a mass email blast out like I used to when I first got started. I have case managers that I'll send a quick text to, or if we don't already have somebody who's on the waiting list for that, right? So the case managers are operating the same way. So it's really important to do the introductory meetings with them so that you can establish those relationships. Brooke, no, I'm not licensed. I focus on independent living homes, so we do not provide any care or services, and I am in Florida.
Did you want to enter
Grace said, I DM you, I never got any answers. Grace, the DM functionality on here is not the best, so I apologize. But you should. I don't know what your question is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you can ask it now. post your question here since you're here live. Yeah, that's the best results I can give for you. Or join the community. Right now, everyone who joins the community, I do a one-on-one call with them. So if that's of interest to you, you can join the community. Cool. Sorry, I'm going over to what I wanted to do for my outline. I think I covered all points. We kind of got jumped around because of the questions that are coming in, but I like it. I think that was good and helpful. Was there any other topics that you guys wanted to make sure that I covered in regards to getting started? I guess I'll answer my own question. One of the biggest things that people are shocked on, which it was different for me too, is when I recommend them start marketing before they have a property. It's a little uncomfortable. They're like, man, what do I say if they ask me if I have a property? Do I tell them I don't have a property? And again, there's nothing new under the sun. Look at what other businesses are doing. When Apple was telling everybody about the iPhone 17, it wasn't available in stores yet, right? They started marketing before that physical product was available. Apartment complexes are going to have a huge coming soon sign out when there's just dirt and gravel on the ground, right? They're marketing before the product is available. If you look at some of your favorite companies and brands, they're always marketing before the actual product is available. It's the same thing in this business. So yes, it is completely okay to market and establish relationships before you have your property, and it's best for you as the business owner as well. It will hopefully give you some free time. Do you know anyone that is in your circle who is in California? Yeah, absolutely, Karina. We got people in San Diego operating and LA area. And I'm from Fresno, California, so I don't know if that helps. Top 3 tips to start. Business foundation first. Legitimize yourself. You're gonna need it's better too when you start partnering up with organizations because they're gonna want to send you a W-9, and you want that to have your business on it instead of just your personal information. and it protects your personal assets. That's the whole purpose of a LLC, is to protect your personal assets away from the business assets, just in case anything happens. The next thing is going to be for my fellow introverts, and I say fellow because I'm a natural introvert. Getting on live like this is not easy for me, which is why I probably don't do it often. You have to get out of your own way. Sometimes, sometimes, and I think it's more times than not, introverts are actually gonna be better communicators with organizations than an extrovert would be, because an introverts, we take time to listen and understand what somebody else is saying. So when it is time for us to speak, we actually have something to say. Sometimes extroverts, they're talking so much that they've already ran out of things to say, 2 weeks ago, but they're still going, right? So get out of your own way. Don't be afraid to reach out and speak to an organization, and don't feel like you have to know everything. It's okay to let them know, hey, I'm in the beginning stage of a process right now. Or if they ask you a question that you don't know the answer to, don't try to make something up on the fly. You can say, you know what? I haven't come across that yet. That's a fantastic question. What would you recommend we do in that situation, or I do in that situation? Let them give you the answers to the test, and then you'll be golden after that. And was that 2 or 3 that I gave? You weren't even.
That was 2, I think.
That was 2. You weren't even paying attention.
I'm writing down.
Okay. The third tip is going to be market before, if you can, market before you get your property. Definitely. Market before you get your property. How to get landlords to agree to renting to you. Great question. You're going to hear more no's than you do yeses when connecting with landlords. That's just part of it. So get used to that. But you have to come off as a professional, and you have to come off as confident. When I first started reaching out to landlords, I was getting a ton of no's, and it was because I was telling them like, hey, I think I'm going to work with this organization, and I think they're going to have clients that can send to me, and I think those clients are going to pay me, which then I think I'll be able to pay you. And they were like, dude, you don't even sound confident in what's about to happen. So why would we entrust our property in you, right? Versus, and one of the reasons why I say do the marketing first, you go into them saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, I'm already working with a few organizations in the city who are ready to send clients my way. We're just looking at a few properties, you and somebody else, to see if you guys would be a good fit for us. But we're ready to go on our end. They're going to be like, oh, okay, this person, they've already done their marketing first. They already have the connections. They know where the funding's coming from. And then you could reassure them on the minute things as well. I do have I don't like doing I'm not a sales heavy person, but I have a how to talk so landlords will listen ebook. If you click the link in my bio, it's $27. If that's the part that you're on and you're struggling with it, get that. It walks you through all the different objections, how to find different landlords in your area, etc. It'll be perfect. And then if you're inside the housing department community already, don't worry about buying that, because I have that in the community too. So you're good to go, plus a bunch of other stuff. Perfecto. What do you think? What you thinking? Did I miss any questions?
No. You got through all the questions. Things I think you should talk about. Someone said, when you did market with the client saying, let us know when the house opens, should I go get the... When you did market with client saying, let us know when the house opens, so I should get the property.
Yeah, so if Daoli, when you did market, so when you're doing your marketing to organizations, you want to wait. This is my recommendation. Wait until you have about 3 to 5 organizations that you've met with that either say that like what you're doing and say like, hey, yes, we'd be happy to send clients your way once you get a property. At the end of that in-person meeting or Zoom call, your next step, because you always want to close the deal, your next steps should be asking them if they're interested in coming out for an in-person tour once you open up the home. So once you have 3 to 5 of those organizations that you've met with, that you've kind of established that relationship, they have clients that they would be able to send to you. Then you can go out and secure the property, or have the confidence to go out and secure a property. Some people focus on building a wait list of people first. Excuse me. The reason why I do not recommend that personally, there's nothing wrong with gathering a wait list. You can do both. It's going to happen naturally that people are going to reach out to you once you're connecting with organizations. But if you are, this thing popped up. If you are solely relying on a wait list, what's going to happen is you're going to build up a wait list. Let's say people call me today saying they're in need of housing. You aren't going to, most of the time, you may be different. Most people aren't going to be able to find a property tomorrow. It's going to take them anywhere between 15 to 20 days to lock up a property, get it furnished, etc. So by the time you have your property, those people who reached out to you today, hopefully have already found another place to stay. Hopefully they're not just still sleeping outside or in a shelter or sleeping in their car, right? So if that's all you had on your waiting list, by the time you open your doors, then you're stuck saying, oh my gosh, there's no one to move into my home. Versus if you're connected with the organizations or the case manager within them, the housing director, housing coordinator, or social worker who is getting new clients on a regular basis, when you open up your home, then they're going to have a new set of clients that they can refer over to you. So that's why I say focus on the relationships with the organizations first. What's up, Camia?
Karina, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Karina says, if you can list a few.
The organizations are not state by state, so you're gonna have to look them up in your area, Karina. You can look at, if you're in Tampa, I can tell you there's the Salvation Army, there is IBIS, which used to be Grace Point, there's A. Brown Ministries, there's Metro Inclusive Health, there's Metropolitan Ministries, there's Tampa Hope. So there's a bunch of different organizations, but you can find organizations for the area that you're in. You can find them on Google by searching, rapid rehousing programs or ready for work programs or different keywords like that. If you're in the community, you can use our ChatGPT prompt to pull up a quick list of organizations. You can go on shelterlistings.org. If you want to, it's a national database of shelters across the United States. You just have to plug in your state and city and it will populate for you. But that's going to be the best way for you to find orgs in your area. Solid. Has this been helpful so far for you guys?
Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 if it has, so we know.
Alyssa said, "Put a 1 in the chat."
I just like saying that.
If this has been helpful. Karina said, "Yes, so much."
Hello.
Narika put a 1 in the chat. Suzette said, "Thanks." Lisa put a 1. Demetria put a 1. Suzette said 1. I love it. I am new. I want to open a home in Los Angeles in the next 30 days. You got a lot of marketing to do. It's possible, but you got a lot of marketing to do. I usually tell people 60 to 90 days because of the marketing side of things. So and don't think that you're gonna, and again, you guys may be different. I mean, I don't like speaking in exacts because it may work out for you that way, but most of the time you're not gonna be able to just send out one email to an organization and then they immediately just reply, right? For people in my accelerator program where we do the emails for them, sometimes we have to send 6, 7, 8 follow-up emails to the same exact person before we finally get a reply saying, hey, yes, let's set up a Zoom call meeting. Right? So don't just give up after email number 1. Keep going. You have to be persistent in following up with them. Karina said, thank you. Amazing content you have. Appreciate it. We are gonna be going live more often and sharing this. I am going to actually post a recording to this on my YouTube channel as well. So if you guys don't mind, would appreciate if you can go on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, It's at I am Terrence Garcia. The link to get there is also in my bio, and then we could be you can have access to this recording also. So that'll be cool. Did I miss any questions?
No, because I was.
You were on top of it? Alyssa said she was on top of the question, so I didn't miss any. If you did post a question and I missed it, feel free to post it or send it again. I promise I didn't skip it on purpose, and I promise Alyssa did not skip your question on purpose as well. It's difficult in Massachusetts. I already have 2 houses for 27 clients. Let's go. What's difficult about it? You're booming. You already got 2 houses up and running. Congratulations. If it was easy, I mean, you should be happy that if you're saying it's difficult, you should be happy that it's not super easy. That means you have less competition. Right? What part should I want to give some more value. What part should I go over again?
I think kind of like if you can do like a skim of you remember I was having issues understanding everything you needed, like those 3 main things to get started financially, like you were talking about. Obviously, starting getting an LLC, getting that number, the EIN, getting all that stuff, I think is really helpful. Because even I didn't know.
Okay.
But just briefly go over that.
Okay. Narika said yes. I can't believe you
she's
guys.
Talking about,
I can't believe you guys can hear her when she's saying that. I feel like I can barely hear her, but they're saying, yeah, we can hear you. I think that you guys just like Alyssa. But cool. Yeah, we can do that real quick. Again, just a quick overview of, the process to get going. So, no, you do not need a EIN per house. So you want to start with a LLC. Or your business foundation. Let's go business foundation first. So that's LLC, EIN number, which is like a social security number for business. And then you want a business bank account. So those are your main 3 for your business foundation. If you're in a position to, then you can look into business funding as well. Business funding is like business credit cards that you take out underneath the business, and that way most of them come with 0% interest for the first 6 to 12 months. And while that money is on those credit cards, it's not negatively affecting your personal credit. So that's why people leverage business funding now. I didn't know about it when I first got started. Now I know about it, which is why I share it with you guys, because it's like, man, why not? The Maya said, why LLC versus is nonprofit? For me, biggest reason is because I collect a profit. That's the biggest thing, and a LLC is easier to get up and going, in my opinion, than a nonprofit. If you have experience with not setting up nonprofits and you already have a board ready to go and things of that nature, more power to you. You can operate the same way, but I think LLC is the easiest way.
Who asked that question? Maya. Who's Maya?
Demetra.
Oh, you said Maya.
I did? My bad.
Marketing tips.
Next is marketing. So you want to have your website up and running. A way to track your contacts. That could be a simple Google sheet, or you can use a CRM if you want to, and a flyer. When you're reaching out to, let me do this next. Then you're building a list of organizations in your area. I recommend you build a list of at least 50 contacts would be good. After that, you are reaching out to these organizations. So that can be emailing, visiting in person, or calling. Kayla said, any other marketing tips? You just said that, I know, but I reread it. When you are emailing, make sure you have a CTA on it. Probably schedule, if you're manually sending out emails and you do not have a CRM, and let's say you have a 9 to 5, so you can't send emails only can send emails or work on this business at night. Do not send the emails at night. Instead, in your Gmail account, you can send 5 to 20 emails at a time. So put all their email contacts in the BCC section. BCC, it stands for blind copy section. And then on the bottom, instead of clicking send, hit the arrow that's next to the send button, and you're gonna see a schedule send option pop up. You can click that schedule send and put it to land in their inbox the following day at like 9:03 a.m. I like doing like a 03 or 02, so it's not on the exact dot. Then they'll get their emails when they're first in office, so it should be at the top of their inbox list when they come in, which gives you a better chance of being seen. The other thing, when you are reaching out and calling, if you have the availability to call, doesn't matter who you're speaking to, treat them like they are the most, and I should appreciate the ice cream. Treat them like they're the most important person in the world, because you never know who they can connect you to. But at the same time, you also have to be persistent with the information that you need. So when you're calling in an organization, if you like looked on their website and you got an email, most of the time you're gonna get like an info at email or their company email, whether it be support at. But you need exact people's emails. So when you're calling in, let them know what you want to do. Say you're hoping to connect with someone on their housing team. They're going to say, oh, you should talk to Anna, right? And then they'll say, oh, give me your contact information, and I'll write it down and I'll give it to Anna when she's back in the office. Don't stop there, because that contact information is going on a sticky note and then it's being tossed away at the end of with their lunch break or at the end of their day. I remember there was someone in our community, she shared, she went to visit organizations and she stopped at a hospital, and she dropped off, I think it was her flyer or her contact information. I think it was her flyer that she dropped off, and she walked away heading to the elevator to leave. And she said, like, my voice popped in her head and she was like, shoot, I didn't ask them for their contact information. So she then turned around and was walking back to the main desk, and she saw them crumble up her flyer and throw it in the trash can, right? Which, again, she handled it well, probably better than I would have. No, I'm pretty calm.
Yeah,
calm, cool. Yeah, better than you. I'm calm, cool, collected in those situations. But point is, she wasn't the right person. So she went back. She asked for who she should be speaking with contact information. Because if you have the contact information, you're in control of the follow-ups. You're not waiting for someone to reach back out to you, right? So she asked, hey, who is your lead social worker? Who's your housing coordinator? They say, oh, it's Anna. Okay, what's Anna's email? I already have an intro email ready to go, so I can send it over to her. It will save both of us time. Get Anna's email. Don't just pass out your contact information. And this is when even visiting organizations or talking on the phone, you always want to be collecting more contact information than you are just giving out yours. If you're just giving it out, you're waiting for them to reach out to you. You're stuck in the waiting game, versus you have it. You're in control of how often you are following up.
You said SRM. Is that what you said earlier on? SRM?
CRM.
CRM. That's what it is.
Where did that come from?
Karina. And then, do you take private pay residents only?
CRM, Karina. Yeah, the CRM I use is grouphomegrow.com. But you do not need a CRM. If you're just getting started, you don't have to have a CRM to get going. You can cut costs and do it through Gmail. Love your content. Just learned about this business model a week ago. Your page has been amazing. Hey, appreciate you. Do you take private pay residents only? No. So also take residents that are coming from organizations that are paying for them as well. I primarily take people who have guaranteed income. That's my goal. Guaranteed income. So either Social Security, disability, or an organization is covering it. Salon and spa. I want help starting a group home. Let's connect. If you want to do it yourself, which I think anyone can do, you can join the housing department community. You'll get access to a full program that walks you step by step of how to do it. You'll get all of my emails, all of my call scripts that I use. I'll give you how to find organizations in your area, so that your housing rules, agreements, all of that's covered for you. And then we do live calls every single week inside of there. Fun fact, in 2025, we did a call every single week. I was so proud of that. Our last call was on the 30th. And I was like, man, we did every single week in here, either talking to people who had their homes up and running or people who were getting started in this business, answering questions. And they're all recorded if you ever want to go back and listen to them in the community. But yeah, so that's a way that you can get started. I also have an accelerator program for people who have a little bit more capital and they want to expedite the process and maybe they don't have as much bandwidth on their own. To where me and my team literally come in and it's a done with you program. We build a list of organizations in your area. We do the email outreach for you. So we're the ones following up with them, setting up Zoom calls, and then I actually hop on those Zoom calls with you with the organizations to help you establish those relationships. But you can click the link in my bio, see the different options that are there, and we can go from there. What stops from doing just Airbnb? You can do Airbnb. It's just Airbnb is a little bit more regulated and it's not as consistent.
What's the difference?
Airbnb is through Airbnb's platform, and it's usually for people who are looking for a place where they can stay if they're like going on vacation or something like that. So you can have someone come in and they just book for 3 days, they book for a week, but there's not a consistent reoccurring revenue. The goal and how I opened up this video is building like a recession-proof business. So as things are up in the air in regards to like Medicaid and Medicare on the licensed group home side of things, they also talk about, I had a conversation with a high up organization in Florida last month, and they're concerned about permanent housing being shut down, like Section 8 and HUD-VASH vouchers. People are still getting their Social Security disability checks. Organizations are still collecting grants from people which they use that grant income and donations in order to house people. Reason being is because the wealthy people are still giving those same donations because they need them for tax write-offs. So those incomes are still guaranteed. No issues have come from them, which is why I focus on that. Airbnb is solely or mostly on people doing vacation rentals, which is why I say it can be more inconsistent. But if you are in a predominant, like a well sought out area where a lot of people want to go on vacation and you think Airbnb could be better for you, go ahead and try it. I have had people coming out of Airbnb and switch their Airbnbs to this business model though. Karina said, what does that cost?
Look, he's still on the same. How many residents can you have without a permit?
Who said that?
The same person you just answered.
Salon? You can.
G Wolf.
We looking at different questions, but or what's the difference? How many residents? Oh, my bad. You're right. I skipped the question. My bad. How many residents can you have without a permit? It depends on where you're operating out of. Right now, there's not in most states, there's no limit on the amount of people you can have living in a home, because if they do, it's a violation of the federal fair housing law. I went earlier, and you can. You'll be able to go back if you go to my YouTube channel to watch this live, but I touched on the different times all the way up to the 1800s where this type of housing model was used. So you can see like how other people have operated in it. For example, in 1975, there's an organization that started, it's Oxford House. They had more than, it's usually 4 in most states. They try to say like 4 unrelated individuals living under the same roof. Code enforcement tried to shut them down. They went to court, fought it, and went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and Oxford House won, and now they have nearly 3,000 locations spread out across the U.S., right? So I do my research. Before I dive into stuff, I do my research on it. I encourage you to do the same thing. If you don't take my word for it, go look it up. Look up Oxford House. see their different locations. They have them live on their website. You can see, like, if there's there's probably Oxford houses in your area that you didn't even know. They're hidden in plain sight. Karina said, what does that cost? The different costs for my programs, Karina, if you click the link in my bio, you'll be able to see those. It's broken down. Do any residents share a room? Yes. Yeah, I offer both shared and private rooms. I think it's a good solution to offer both shared and private rooms. For my shared rooms, I do max 2 people in the rooms. But most people are going to want a private room. To be honest with you, most people prefer to have their own 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment unit. Unfortunately, there's just not enough of those at an affordable rate in order for everyone to get those. So when people are, I'm going too fast? Yeah. I get excited, my bad. Apologies, Alyssa said I was talking too fast. So when people are calling in and let's say you don't have any private rooms available, but you do, you don't have any private rooms available currently because someone else is staying in it, but you have a shared room available. I like offering both because that's when you can let them know, hey, we don't have any private rooms available right now, but if you're interested in a private room, you can, what?
The last comment, that's what I was getting from that.
Oh, I didn't see it. If you're interested in a private room, then you can take we offer our private rooms to people who are in our shared rooms already first. So you can take advantage of one of our shared rooms, and then as soon as a private room opens up, whether it be at this location or a different one, you'll be one of the first people notified about our private room. I have no capital. What's the easiest route? Easiest route is going to be if you have decent credit, you can take advantage of business funding. If that's not an option for you either, then you're gonna have to get scrappy. So you are going to have to find a landlord partner that is willing to do more of a partnership share, at least for the first property, which means you're going to split the profits with them in exchange for not having to put upfront costs into getting started. That's going to be typically a landlord who their property's maybe been on the market for 60 to 90 days. They can't get it rented. They're just paying the mortgage out of pocket. At this point, they got nothing to lose, but given anything a chance, that's who you would want to partner with.
What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is my same @ on here, so it's I am Terrence Garcia. Terrence only has 1 R. And if you click the link in my bio, I have a direct link to my YouTube channel as well. Happy New Year. Oh, is that a Miracle? Happy New Year, Miracle. Big question is, where do I find rates by state or city? Even better, county. My zip code is 20814. Yeah, you're not going to find that online. It's not the same as like FMR, fair market rates, that are displayed each year by HUD, where it's based off of zip code. That's more for like permanent housing solutions. With this, it's a little bit different, a little bit more flexible. What I'm seeing right now across the United States are shared room beds, so where there's like 2 people in a room. Each bed is going anywhere between $600 to $800 a month. Private room beds are going anywhere between $800 to $1,000 a month. If you are in a major metropolitan city like California, New York, Miami, then your bed prices are going to be a little bit higher. But the best way you're going to find out what the rates are in your area is once you start marketing. You can ask the organizations how much their other housing partners are charging or how much their clients are used to paying. Lions Jamaica, Happy New Year. Do you charge more for private rooms versus shared? Yes. I think I just answered that. What's up, C Daddy?
Quick.
What'd you get? What comment did you get hyped off of?
I'll talk about that later.
Okay, I must have missed it.
Unrelated. I want to order kava. Do you want me to get you a bowl with meat in it, or are you going to use the meat you cooked? Or you want to add that to your bowl?
Okay. Sorry, Alyssa said she's ordering kava.
It's getting late. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm just going to eat. I think I have rice upstairs too.
You don't.
And just New Year. Anybody else on the New Year, New Me fitness routine? I am. My thing is I'm trying to eat a pound of meat a day to help me with my protein intake.
Sound good. Pound of meat.
Yeah, pound of meat a day cost. It's crazy. But
Okay. So you're good on cobbler, nothing. You also don't have rice upstairs. You have the one from Costco, but I don't think you like that.
I don't know. I'll let you select ones. All right, cool. Yeah, but I do want to eat that ground beef upstairs. So if it is just sides, that'd be fine. What type of insurance is recommended? General liability insurance attached to your LLC. $1 million policy. Nothing fancy. New year, new me. This business. Let's go. This is your year, Karina. Rooms up to $1,450 with private bathroom where I am. Most of them $1,200 minimum. Nice. So then if it's $1,200 for a private room and bathroom, you have to consider if yours is gonna offer a bathroom also. But if you're in a higher area, then maybe your bed prices are a little bit higher. Also, don't get discouraged if you see, or if a case manager or individual you're talking to on the phone brings up like, hey, well, there's a private room, because you could post private rooms on Zillow now as well. There's like, hey, there's a private room listed on here for X amount of dollars, and it has their own bathroom and stuff like that. Most people aren't going to want to go and stay there, or they're uneducated on why they should want to go to stay there. Most of those, it's not a program. That is somebody who is renting out like a single room in their place, extra room. Maybe it's an empty nester. But most cases, unfortunately, it's not the best living situation, because again, it's not a program. You're moving into somebody else's house. I've had lots of people who have come to me in my housing program and told me horror stories about them staying in a home like that, waking up to people over them doing inappropriate things, people checking in on them when they're showering and stuff like that. So it's not always the most convenient, even if it looks desirable initially for someone who's looking for housing. If they're not going into a program, it's not as trusted. Karina said, doing the work with you today. Let's get it. New year, new us. Would you suggest going for clients? Would you suggest going for the clients you have? Going for the clients I have? Yeah, I love my clients. If you could take my clients, power to you. My house manager just said he's going out tonight and leaving independent clients for a few hours. Hey, your house manager is taking advantage of the new year. See, Daddy, it's all good. You think that's a bad idea for independent? I'm so used to having patients who can't be left alone. No, that's no problem for independent. They should be good to go as long as they're independent. So you know who the people are. If you want to send like a quick check-in text to them or check the cameras in a few hours, it's no problem. But this would be a good test for them as well if you've never left them alone without the house supervisor being there. But I think your house supervisor, as long as they don't go out and make wrong mistakes, they'll go out, have some fun, and then be even more energized coming back into the new year and the new week. Can you give your thoughts about homes in HOAs? And I am surrounded by HOAs. Yeah, I prefer homes that aren't in a HOA or a gated community. You can operate there. We have some people in the community who are operating inside HOAs because they're like, hey, there's already people here doing it. But sometimes HOAs can be a little bit stricter. And again, even though legally you can operate there, they may just not want you there and try to give you a hard time. So I try to avoid HOAs and gated communities if you can. Should an attorney creating housing agreement documents, if you want one to, yeah, or you can use the one I use, an attorney created. Well, they didn't create it. reviewed it. So if you want to use that, just join the community. But yeah, if you feel more comfortable with the attorney making you a freshman, that's fine too. All good, Liv. House managers has to be there 24 hours and alternate. No, mine don't, no. Because everyone in my homes can live independently, so the house supervisors are like an additional eyes and ears to the home. But if they also live their own lives, it's not a full-time job, so they have doctor's appointments they go to. If they want to go visit family or hang out with friends, they have the freedom to do that as well. That's what the security cameras are for, and why everyone else got screened the same exact way as the house supervisor. I have to sneeze, but bless me.
Can we go back to, because Liv Wolf was saying, sorry, that's not what I meant, and then we can go back to the other ones. They said, the one where you're like, oh, we could, about your clients. So they said, where organizations will be able to disclose pricing by zip code. I have my property on Zillow and Marketplace Facebook. So I guess that's what they were referring to.
Gotcha. Yeah, hesitating how I can fill my bedrooms. Where are you? Well, you don't. Oh no, you already gave your zip code, and I wasn't familiar with it. So you're not in Tampa, but there's not going to be there's not set organizations that are nationwide. There's different organizations in different city and state. So there's not like a group of names of organizations I can tell you, I'm in Maryland Perfect, that are like, hey, you can reach out to them, other than like the Salvation Army. They're like a national shelter. So you're gonna have to reach out and ask them how much their clients are used to paying, or how much their other housing providers are charging. Another thing you can do is you can find other housing providers in your area. Again, you could find most of this on shelterlistings.org. It's a national database of shelters. Find other housing providers in your area, and reach out to them. Pretend like you are in need of housing, or you have a family member in need of housing, and see what they quote you. That'll give you another good idea of how much other housing providers are charging. And do some market analysis to see what's going on. And I think it's perfectly okay too. Again, you are, for you guys may not have heard like my spiel. When you're first getting started and you're connecting with the organization, I go in letting them know and recommend this to the clients. Hey, here's my spiel. I'm giving my full spiel. I've been saying it for years, so I have it memorized. It's like, I do my icebreaker stuff, and I have this script listed in the community as well. I do my icebreaker stuff, and I'm like, hey, thanks again for taking the time to hop on the call. My name's Terrence. I usually say I'm on the operations real estate. I'm the operations manager. I'm the real estate acquisitions team, depending on if I'm with an accelerator client or not. We're in the very beginning stage of our process. So may have some newbie questions for you, but we plan on opening 3 to 5 properties over the next couple months. Instead of going the traditional landlord route, we really want to get into the affordable housing space, because we see how much of a need there is in insert your city. Right now, we're spending a lot of time connecting with great organizations like yourself, who are already doing great work in the community, serving the different demographics that we'd like to help house, and just seeing if you guys are in need of additional housing partners, and if so, what that process would look like to become a housing partner for you all. Then that kind of sets the stage of the conversation. So now, again, bless you, you're in the beginning stages, so you can ask them, hey, what are beds going for? What would you recommend we charge for this type of setup? Here's our home. Here's some pictures of it. Here's the zip code that we're in. What would you recommend for us? And if you like their answer, great. If you don't, you still get the opportunity to adjust based off what works for you. Am I talking too fast though?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm gonna.
Cool. Alyssa's telling me it's time to wrap it up. To start a resident house, we covered that. Do you do background checks? I don't use the software anymore for background checks because again, most of the people that you're housing, they're not going to have the best credit score and they've been incarcerated in the past. I do research online, which almost everything's Googleable now. That's the best recommended process that I would go through instead of wasting time on a software for that. Shelterlistings.org live. Just got here. How do you get homes to start a residential home? What's going on, Micaiah? Partnering with landlords. That's how you're getting it. If you want to go the rental route, it's gonna be how you find. So you can find properties that are listed for owner on Zillow. You can also use HotPads. I like HotPads. HotPads is actually owned by Zillow, but it has additional features in there to where you can filter directly by properties that are listed by the owner. And then a new one that I'm trying out is buyowners.com. I don't remember which one it is, but that's a newer one that I've been testing out lately as well. Someone said no. I don't know. I think they're saying no, not leave. But
no, they're saying no to the question above it.
Oh.
Nice try though.
What question above it?
It literally says, just got here, how do you get the homes and start?
They wouldn't just say no.
Do you go to the background check? They were saying no to someone else. They weren't saying...
Narika, what were you saying no to?
Regardless.
Yep. But appreciate everyone who tuned in. I need to reach out to you. I need your advice on how to handle a resident and don't want to leave. What's up, Miss V? You're in the community? If you're in the community, send me a message. If you're not in the community, join the community. But yeah, happy to help. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm gonna post the live for this or the recording of this on YouTube. If you don't mind, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's at I am Terrence Garcia. The link to subscribe is in my bio as well. Again, I have 8 homes in the Tampa area, so I'm not just talking about things that I don't currently do. Also, for the past 2 years, I've been helping people get started in this business. If you want to see some of the testimonials of that, click the link in my bio. I also have them on my page of video, pictures, whatever you feel comfortable listening to. But I got my experience helping people in different states open up homes. That's how I'm able to come and speak to you all so confidently about what will work in your area. If I was only operating my homes in Florida, I would not have the confidence that I do to come up here and share you guys what will work in your area. But have my experience, and now I feel comfortable sharing. So hope it helps. Hope you guys are able to get your homes up and running. Wishing you guys all the best. And Maya said, I'm going to post in the group tomorrow how I rock this meeting. Let's go. Looking forward to seeing that post. Yeah, we're going to do more posts like that in the community too. I want to get this business. I need to, in the first home to get started, I'm in Illinois. I need the first step. First step is to create your LLC. Make it official that you're going to get started in Illinois and open up your home. After that, get a website. So the LLC, EIN number, business bank account, then website, flyer, and a way to track your contacts. Build a list of organizations in your area and start reaching out to them via email, calling, and visiting in person. Cool. All right. Have a blessed night, everybody. Happy New Year again. And we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.